Well guys, welcome back to another home repair video from Cobra Vids. This here is the toilet flange, if you didn't already see that by the ovalness here. And when I noticed these here, I knew something was up because normally you don't have to shim the toilet if the flange is at the right height and it's bolted down fine. You normally don't have to shim. You only shim if there's some irregularity, spit that word out, in the flange, whether the concrete's cracked or lifted or whatever the case being. There are some occasions where you would shim a toilet, but out of the 100 or so toilets I have repaired, or the flanges I've repaired, or toilets period, probably only a handful I actually had to shim due to the before mentioned issues. Now there's another issue I see here, and go ahead and pause this video and tell me what you see. Keep in mind, I just picked the toilet off and moved it off, and this is what's there. Can you tell me what's wrong with that picture? Oh, wait. Are you thinking? Okay. All right. So what I see wrong here, first thing I see immediately is this big piece cracked out of there. Okay. That's definitely a bad thing, and it's probably because it was over tightened and it cracked the flange, and that's probably why they shimmed it, to keep the toilet from rocking this way. You know, sloppy work. Over here is the actual toilet. You can see the bolt is still there, so I'm gonna have to flip this toilet up when I'm cleaning the rim of it, and I'm gonna have to pull that plastic piece out of there. It's garbage, we can't reuse it, so back to the hole. Okay, as someone might see, this is a PVC flange glued into a PVC pipe. Okay, and someone might say, that's impossible to take off, it's glued. Well, not really. Let's remove that. The first thing you got to do is you got to open up the area so that you can actually work on the glued part, because the whole deal is to cut off the flange. And what I'll probably use is a cut-off saw to cut off the plastic pieces and then cut it off flush. And then I'll be able to take a saw and saw this rim in a few different spots, and then I'll use a screwdriver or something to drive between where it's glued, and if I'm careful, I should be able to chip all those pieces off and hopefully recover this from being broken. I got a floor coming. This is Friday. I got a floor being put in on Monday, so I'm going to work on fixing this right now, and then the flooring is going to be put in on Monday. So I want to get this done, so as soon as the flooring's in, I can jump right in here, reinstall the toilet, seal it, and get it ready for move-in. So, all right. As with all of my videos here, I don't have a tripod, so I cannot set it up for you so you can watch. But what I will do is I will stop at each step and show you what I'm doing and explain the process. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to scrape off what, oh yeah, I've almost forgot. Number 2 thing I see wrong here is there's no wax. Where the hell did that wax go? And number 3 thing I see wrong is, what in the heck is that? I don't want to know what that is. I'm going to scrape it up and throw it away. That's pretty gross. At first I thought it was a turd that slipped out of there. I hope not. So, all right. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get my saw and I'm going to cut off the flange so I can get under there and cut off the rim so that I can get to where this sleeve in here is glued to the pipe. But first of all, before I start touching that, I'm going to put some gloves on. Number 1 rule is safety. All right, so what I've done is I've completely cut off the flange, and I tried to get up underneath this here to get down to where it is where it's joined, but I'm unable to get down low enough because it is very flush with the concrete here. So the only thing I can really do is, of course, I've stuffed rags down in the drainage line so that I don't get any of this debris down there, because that could clog up the sewage lines. But I gotta take it, I gotta use my saw. This is actually a PVC saw. And I'm going to cut this edge here, and I'm going to cut another little piece here, and then use a little chisel screwdriver to try to break it off of that pipe. I don't want to break the actual down pipe, because that, of course, that would be a big repair. Probably have to cut out the concrete in this area. So we got to be very careful while we're doing this. So, all right, next step. All right, guys, so with every job you do like this, it seems like you have to go about it a different way. So what I did was I cut off the lip. I couldn't get down far enough to where I could just easily chisel out. So what I had to do is I had to carefully chisel out by cutting a little section out of here. And now section by section, I have to cut out in order to remove it from the actual pipe, which is right there. Wow, that was quick. Fortunately, it's not glued very good, so I was able to just give the side a little tap with my mallet. Of course, I do it on camera and it's not popping out, so I got to get a little physical. Well, okay, now we got that fixed. We got the old flange out. So now we got to measure, and this is a 4-inch inside diameter. Okay, that's a 4-inch inside diameter, right at 4 inches. So I need to go to the store and I need to get a new flange. I had one, but it is not the same size. It's about the 4-inch flange, but this has to be 4 inches on the inside or the outside diameter of the piece that goes in there. And this one is 4.5 inches wide. This here is about 4 inches, but that goes over a 4-inch pipe. So I gotta go get me a flange that will slip down inside with a 4-inch diameter. Let's go to Lowe's. Alrighty, so after a quick trip to Lowe's, I got a 4-inch flange, and this is how it will go in there. It's in there rough right now. I'm going to have to get some sandpaper and just rough this up so that when I prime it and glue it, it's going to have something to bite to. And I'll roughen up what's left inside there and then this outer flange, and then we'll just sink it down as far as it needs to go, as far as I can get it. Let me go grab my sandpaper. Alright, I'm using some fine sandpaper. It's actually used, but you don't need anything really fancy to do this. You're just wanting to roughen up the surface. Okay, I've scratched up the surface of the inside, and it's pretty smooth. I was able to get it to go down almost flush, a little bit like that. So I'll just use my rubber mallet to finish driving it in once it's primed and glued. Okay, I took my sandpaper and I just took off the shine, because as you can see, that's really shiny there. And on here, it's really scuffed up. And that's what you want. Alrighty, as you can see, I've already primed everything. Actually, I didn't prime enough down in that area. Now, I'm sure you'll all correct me if I'm wrong, but you can't prime too much. Is that a true statement to all of you pros? After I put glue on here, I have one chance to sink it in, or it's going to bond and I will have to do this all over again. So when you put this in here, you want to make sure that your slots for your bolts, your toilet mounting bolts, are pretty much even straight across. So I'll line up this here and try to get it as centered as possible, because you don't want it like this, because your bolts will never click in and your toilet will be sitting at an angle. So that's why it's important to get it like this. I would even go as far as to mount it a little crooked so that you know that you're going to be in here rather than close to the slot right here, because you put the bolt in and then slide it around on here. I can show you that when I mount the toilet if I think about it on Monday. But this is Friday, it's 5:30. I'm ready to go home. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this down so it's ready for Monday after the flooring's put in. And then we can mount the toilet and seal around the bottom. And I'll show you how I seal the toilets around the bottom. It takes a lot of time the way I do it, so hopefully someone will show me an easier way to do it. But anyway, okay, so I'm going to glue it and we'll be right back. Hopefully I can record putting it in there. That would be kind of cool. Okay, like I said, I'll cockeye my flange a little bit, and then I'll use my little mallet to drive her the rest of the way home. Just gotta be careful not to crack it again, and then we'll be on the same story on Monday. But anyway, that looks really, really good. I am very pleased with how that turned out. My bolt holes are plenty in the center here. And yeah, if this was on a wood subfloor and I was doing this, I would use these holes to mount it to the subfloor, because when you have a subfloor, the pipe is just hanging in the air there. Well, there's probably hangers holding the pipe, and it can move, and that can create movement in the toilet. So you would put anchors in these holes here to anchor it to the subfloor, just for extra stability. But anyway, that's going to wrap it up. It is completely flush with the concrete, and hopefully when I reinstall the toilet, I don't have to flange it, but we'll address that when we get there. Alrighty guys, well that's going to wrap it up for this video, replacing a broken PVC toilet flange. I hope you enjoyed it, because I enjoyed it. What a shitty job, right guys? Alright, if you appreciate my efforts here, please subscribe. Like this video, definitely. And subscribe. Oh, wait a minute. Did I already say that? Well, subscribe twice. I can use this subs. So anyway, give this video a big old like. I appreciate y'all joining me and watching my adventures at work. Have a good weekend. Stay safe, stay free, and don't let your life go down the drain. Stay positive.